If you're one of those couples that has been together a couple years and you've noticed your ability to communicate is not improving and the two of you struggle, and you come into my office, most of the time what will kind of define from the beginning, the intake form, is that you have what we call an intimacy disconnect. An intimacy disconnect is when you basically are disconnected from the deeper parts of you, sharing those together. There's a mnemonic I use with intimacy, and if you take it apart, it's into me see. And the only way that someone can develop a relationship with you is if you're able to take the time to take the layers off the outside and reveal them to your partner. And if there's layers there that you refuse to take off, something is usually not connected in the relationship. It's either unsafe or you've never been good at communicating with this person. This person makes you feel attacked maybe. Or maybe in your past, you were traumatized in some way, or someone said something and it triggered you. When I explore further with couples, one of the things that they'll often say is, well, they keep pushing buttons, they keep pushing my triggers, and it's almost like they do it on purpose. They know it's things I'm sensitive, like weight, or not taking care of something, and they'll push it at a time that we're trying to have fun or we're trying to go out to dinner, and then it just changes the whole mood. Sometimes the person or the partner who pushes on a trigger has their own intimacy disorder. They've never been good about being intimate. They're terrified of it. So if they can lock you into a conflict, it's much better for them because they can fight and shut down. But they may not be as open with learning how to de-layer themselves, how to trust a situation, how to start taking layers of just crust from having to protect themselves. Maybe something happened in their childhood, or something happened with another person, someone who is supposed to love them. And it's these kinds of situations couples don't really explore on the front end. They get together, they talk, they have long talks, they feel like they're close. And maybe something will happen, they'll settle in together, they'll cohabitate, and then they decide they're going to get married, they have a kid on the way or something. And so marriage is an aftersight, and they don't ever think, wait a minute, how am I going to keep the intimacy alive with this person? Like, we don't have depth. I don't really even know this person's background. And things like worries, pressures at work, any kind of like substance abuse, or anything your partner does that for the most part the two of you have never addressed, is going to be a potential intimacy blocker. It's going to be something that stands in the way of the two of you talking. So if I were to give you a short synopsis of some intimacy connectors, the first thing I'm going to tell you in a marriage or long-term relationship is you need to understand intimacy builds on itself. You can't just one day have a conversation and say, okay, the therapist told us to do this and now we've got intimacy. It doesn't work like that. You can go to therapy for it, and sometimes the partner will start unrobing or taking off layers in the therapy office. But unless you develop the skills as part of this partnership to help them do that, to create a safe space, they're not going to do that in the marriage with you. So the first thing I want you two to work on is celebrating the good times. No matter what happens, you talk at the end of the day and you say, so let's look for something. What was positive? You come up with one thing and your partner comes up with one thing, and the two of you celebrate that. You might walk to a coffee shop. You might go for a long walk that night. You talk the talk. You talk the talk about, wow, I'm so proud of you. I appreciate you. No matter how small the achievement, it is an achievement. And what we know Celebrating the good things in your partner's day is a step toward them feeling safer, more secure, and more appreciated by you, which are key points in helping them start taking off layers of protection against you or anybody who says they love them, but they just aren't sure. Secondly, openly talk about your feelings and what you need from the relationship. Doesn't matter if you always start it. I'm asking you to start it again. Maybe your partner is really resistant in this area. Maybe they were deeply wounded. Whatever it is, if you can start the conversation and say, I feel like we need to talk more in the relationship, and I feel that I don't want to take over, like I don't want to be the only one. Maybe we'll find 2 topics per week that we really think would be helpful if we talked about them together. And then you define the days, you set your calendar, and those days you start talking about it. Maybe it's something as simple as, can we hire a housekeeper? Will we be able to afford that if one comes in once a month or once every 2 weeks to help with that? Because I think that will make me feel better about the house and the order, and I think that will be reflected in our marriage. A simple topic like that can help your partner feel closer to you, safer with you, and start opening up. Create opportunities for intimacy. I have this crazy idea. Let's go try this bookstore this weekend, or let's go to this festival. I saw something just this weekend. There was a Polish festival in town. Try it. Do things like this. Look for opportunities to have time alone with your partner, and then follow through with it. Hold hands when you can. Touch each other, caress each other's neck or shoulders whenever you can. Don't let someone just pass by you. Grab their arm or give them a hug. Things like that are going to help your partner reconnect with you, feel close to you. And yes, it may fall on your responsibility for a while if you're the initiator, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. There has to be an actor in every relationship, and if that's your place right now, that's the season. Look forward to the time your partner starts feeling comfortable and they're the one that is helping out with the initiation, with the acting. Accept that your relationship's going to have highs and lows. So many of my clients, especially my newly married people coming in, they're so anxious. Like they scare themselves. Well, we're just not communicating, we're not getting along, and I'm worried what it's going to show a potential child. And I'm like, wait, slow down. Like, that's way in the future. Let's just take this today and let me hear what you're going through. Every great marriage has good times and bad times. Most of them are in between, but the good ones outweigh all the in between and all the bad in a healthy relationship. So take it, accept it as part of life. When you were single, you had good days and you had bad days, and you just had a lot of mediocre days. And the good days oftentimes did not validate the mediocre times or the bottom parts. So give yourself a break. It's okay. Married life isn't supposed to make you happy. It's supposed to make you married, and that's what it does. Be positive and grateful for your partner. Practicing something as simple as once a day finding one thing you're grateful to for your partner is going to make a big difference in a healthy long-term marriage, especially if you follow through and keep it going. And lastly, be aware that both parties in a relationship need to see opportunities, initiate opportunities, and be grateful for opportunities to be intimate. It cannot always be one person. You can't rely on one person completely for anything. So you look for opportunities with your partner, both of you, and you follow through rather than saying, well, he used to desire me all the time and now he never pays attention. What about you? Did you used to desire him? Men need desiring as much as women do. And if you're one of those people that kind of uses your gender to give yourself excuses, it's time we don't do that as much. Because in a relationship, when it's two people creating a wonderful long-term relationship, it takes two people focused on doing what the relationship needs in order to survive and thrive. And sometimes you're going to be doing the guy thing, and sometimes you're going to be doing the girl thing. But more than not, whatever of those you choose, it will even out. And you will get back what you put in a marriage, in a healthy marriage. What you put in, you both get back 120%. You always get back more from the relationship if you're willing to keep it going long term in a healthy movement forward. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.